We have the Chef Show on Netflix. Yep, great show. Maybe one of the best cooking shows I've watched on Netflix in general. And that's a high bar to set, or maybe the second only to like No Reservations, right? R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain, legend lives on. I think they celebrated 1 year of his anniversary since he passed, so that's an absolute legend. But yeah, the Chef Show on Netflix, amazing program. So if you don't know, the Chef Show is loosely based on this movie called The Chef Movie, right? The Chef Movie. Do you remember checking it out? It was available, I think, a few years ago. Chef Movie trailer. Let's see if I can find it on here. It was out kind of a while back. Chef, no, that was the one, right? Jon Favreau movie. I'll mute it just because I don't want to get nagged off fucking YouTube and stuff. But it's a really great movie by Jon Favreau, based upon this culinary chef from the culinary school, working in high-end restaurants, who suddenly decides to quit everything and start up a food truck. An amazing story, because what ended up happening was that supposedly through the development of this show, Jon Favreau basically somehow bumped into Roy Choi of Koji food truck fame, the one of the guys that kind of spearheaded the whole food truck thing. He was kind of instrumental in kind of spreading that kind of thing viral. He kind of popped when Twitter was popping, and that kind of sped things up, and he kind of met him, and then through that it was like, oh shit, you're actually the real life version of the show I'm kind of inventing. They got collaborating, got together, and then they now formed this incredible relationship where they kind of go around teaching people, and he kind of is his student from now on. And I guess a cool thing that I like about it was that this movie was so good that I was really looking forward to a sequel. But Jon Favreau, I remember saying he doesn't do sequels, not really a big fan of them. So in terms of kind of working against the sequel, they decided to make this the Chef Show. They didn't really have an idea where it would be placed. They just kind of did it just because they wanted to spend more time together, because they were friends, Roy Choi and Jon Favreau, and through that they've suddenly made the Chef Show, and it kind of got debuted on Netflix, and it's probably the best one on Netflix because it wasn't specifically made for Netflix. It's 30 minutes, very loose, a lot of celebrities on there, but in a very relaxed fashion. They're both, Jon Favreau and Roy Choi, because they're such food enthusiasts and all about the actual craft of cooking, it kind of lightens up the show. Just an amazing TV show. I really want to check it out. But again, if you watch the Chef Movie, then you'll know that Jon Favreau is an actual legend, and this show it was bound to be a success. I'll put up the Chef Show trailer on here now for you guys to check out. The trailer is awesome. It's on Netflix now. It's really one of my favorite shows. Really cool program.
We all come together for a meal. You appreciate it because we've been happy all the time.
Big Tom, that looks like your first oyster right there.
But yeah, it's a really, really great show, man. Really great. Star-studded guests all over the place, from Iron Man, from Bill Burr, to a few other guests here and there. Won't reveal or spoil the surprise for you. Gwyneth Paltrow's a bit of a miss on there. She's got the personality of a brick for the most part, but again, she kind of loosens up a little bit on the program. She's actually got a show coming out for her company called Goop that's going to be very interesting, because most of it's quite pseudosciencey. But I'm going to go into it with an open mind, and hopefully it might be interesting. I think she's got a cookbook section to her site that they kept referencing. Maybe it's a vegan thing that people are really into. I haven't checked out, but again, rare can you check that out too, because again, she comes across well on this, because I think she's around people who are actually passionate about the craft. They're not trying to get her in a moment and try and twist her words or have a gotcha moment. So it's a very loose and fun episode. But yeah, one of my favorite shows I've watched so far, man. Really, really up there. Maybe even better than Chef's Table and stuff. If you're not really into the whole intense nature of Chef's Table, right? Because they're absolute freaks on there, right? The absolute best of the best. It's a bit loose. Oh, that cheese sandwich, so good. Yeah, it was amazing to show. Bill Burr really was having the time of his life on that show too. He really enjoyed talking to those guys. It was really cool. It was an amazing show. Great camaraderie overall between them. Something I really, really admire between. Again, it's just inspiring to see people who have a quote unquote on paper perfect career, right? Something that they're really passionate about. Something that makes them a lot of money. They're at a stage in their career, but the general consensus or the public or the normal consensus that you've run your course, you're not going to learn anything new, stick with your career, stay in your lane, and instead they kind of go into this kind of really, really hard road, hard avenue, hard area in terms of cooking and try and make it. That's something that's super inspiring, and I think that's why a lot of people are really attached to these stories and kind of are drawn to these kind of shows, because they essentially stir in you a desire to maybe try something new in your life, right? There's only one life to give, one life you've got, really. Why not give it a shot? And there is a real understanding that this might not be a fortune maker, right? You might not end up being the next fucking Hawksmoor, right? or the next Meat Liquor. It might not end up like that for you. You might make the quarter of what you make in your actual office career, right? You might end up making like 25 grand, 15 grand a year, but you're happy. You end up waking up when you want to wake up. You go to work doing something that you love. You work with a team that you've crafted yourself. You work with your family, your friends. It's such a rewarding experience. I really understand why people kind of dump everything and kind of pursue it. You see it a lot when you watch shows like Munchies, right? You see some of the people on there when they go and hang out with their friends or they go visit particular restaurants. You see the kind of love that they have for each other because they've all kind of gone through this grind that they all know is difficult no matter what you're making. No matter if you're HBK or you're a small indie restaurant, the food scene is unforgiving, right? There's so many options out there for punters. There's so many places to go to, especially now in London, since we have all this influx of immigrants and people that have come in from abroad who have kind of brought all their culinary delights, all their experience, and they've really elevated the cuisine, food scene in general in London, let alone the food truck scene is insane. So imagine the level of competition that exists out there right now. In the beginning, it was hard because there wasn't a customer base for it, right? Our palate as British people wasn't as advanced or wasn't as willing to accept or to be willing to try out these new dishes. Then all of a sudden we got inundated with them, and now we have too many to choose from, right? You only have to look at stuff like London Eater or Dining in London or Cheese and Biscuits or London Pop-Up's Twitter account to see the amount of, or Design My Night, see the amount of new bars and restaurants that are opening up, right? Or just opened. There's so many new restaurants opening up every single day of the week that it's just getting nauseating, right? So to do it right now and to really make success for it really shows the temperament people have, and really also shows how willing people are to sacrifice, you know, the glitzy material things in life, the 401ks, the insurances, the health plans, the security of a job in order to do something that they really feel is going to make them alive. It's going to bring them alive. It's going to leave a legacy. That's going to allow them to work when they want to work. It's just super inspiring overall. I really recommend you check it out. It's an amazing show. It's on Netflix now. The Chef Show by Jon Favreau. Starring Roy Choi as well on there. Is it Roy Choi? Is it Roy Choi? I'm pretty sure that's his name. There's a kind of an interview on here too, actually. Yeah, Roy Choi. There's an interview here on Eater, actually, that I'll quickly go through that kind of gives you a bit of an overview. Jon Favreau and Roy Choi take their kitchen friendship to the next level. The Chef Show, here, and it kind of gives a premise of how the show kind of came about. It says here, how did we get from the chef to the Chef Show? Jon Favreau says it started off very organically. After we were done together at the film, and the film came out, we did a lot of promotion and remained friends, but we never really got to cook together anymore because Roy's busy cooking all day. And then there are a lot of talk about how do you want to do a sequel? And I didn't want to do a sequel because I felt like the story sat the way it should, and I didn't want to do another movie, which is awesome. I love that. Sometimes sequels kill movies in general, but I understand the allure of doing it because the money involved. Cool, I understand, but it continues. But the idea of cooking, sharing experience with Roy, that was something interesting to me. At first, I just got cameras and filmed us cooking in different environments with different people. It was done over the course of 3 days. Then I would take the footage and just start working on it. I didn't know if I was going to pitch it somewhere, and the next thing you know, I ended up finishing it, just trusting that in this day and age, they would find a good partner, which is awesome. It ended up doing it. We ended up doing enough episodes to actually deliver a season, and it turned to a Netflix show. They loved the authenticity of it, and they loved the passion, which is what you get watching it. It's just a real passionate, authentic show. There's no sell, there's no gimmick. It's just what it is. Two friends cooking who are mad about cooking, mad about connecting with people all over the world, all over the country that do the same thing as them, and just really kind of exploring recipes and ingredients and what kind of brings to life their connection with the overall environment. Again, kind of familiar with Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. He continues here. We have sequences that I filmed when I was going out of town to work on Spider-Man Homecoming. We were out in Austin and Atlanta cooking with other people who I knew like to cook, Gwyneth Paltrow and Bill Burr and other chefs like David Chang. It became this thing that took on a shape through the editorial process like a documentary, and now we have a format. But at first it was really about having fun cooking together, talking and sharing his experience with friends. And Roy Choi says as well, to end, it was just us trying to find a way to continue to hang out with each other. That's what friends do, right? You create road trips together or call each other and say, let's go to the movies. And this is just another way for us to, in our busy life, to make time to be with each other. It's great that something came out of it. But going back to Jon's feelings towards not wanting to make a sequel, we were bouncing around the idea of possibly opening a restaurant too, and there still may be one, but that seemed like a lot of work, and this naturally came out of the ashes of those two ideas. So that's awesome. In terms of, you know, where does it sit between a sequel and a restaurant? That is probably the best amalgamation of the thing, because I'm sure Roy Choi's got an entire empire he's running. I'm sure John Favreau is doing many more film production kind of gigs that he's doing that takes up a lot of his time. They were mentioning how long it took to fucking film Iron Man. That seemed insane. So yeah, just generally a really cool show that really gets to the real core of what it means to be a chef or a cook in general. And I really recommend you check it out, especially even if you don't care about cooking. There's some film lessons that you will gain from it in general. It's available now on Netflix.